Saludos mi gente, bienvenido al 5º episodio de Contado y Cantado. Y esta noche tenemos unos invitados de lujo, nuestros invitados de honor, directamente desde Nueva York. Y mejor yo dejo que ellos mismos se presenten.
Así es, así es.
A ver, ¿a quién tenemos esta noche?
A los hermanos Galvan.
Bueno, ya comenzamos. Ya. Bueno, por favor, los aplausos para los hermanos Moreno, por favor. Tenemos a Willie y a Nelson aquí. Hola. Willie y Nelson.
Hola, soy Willie.
Y Nelson.
Los hermanos Moreno.
Ay, aplausos de nuevo, aplausos. Bueno, Jorge, es un honor, it's an honor de nosotros que este podcast, o sea, que nos demoramos entre cada episodio, pero la cosa es que la espera es worth it, ¿sí o no?
Por supuesto que sí.
En octubre tuvimos a Salsirín con mucho swing de Manuel Guerra y esta vez tenemos a los maestros, los hermanos Moreno. Es algo bien chévere, Jorge, ¿sí o no?
De verdad es un honor, maestros, y la verdad que ustedes cada oportunidad que han podido venir acá con nosotros siempre lo hemos disfrutado a lo máximo. Siempre trae las buenas vibras. When you guys are on stage, it's like It's just another world, and we really admire you guys. We want to thank you for being here with us today, and let's just chat it up.
Yeah,
let's do it. Let's chat it up.
Let's start it, man. Let's start it.
Vamos para encima.
¿Quién son ustedes? Who are you?
Pues yo soy Willie.
Nelson.
Los hermanos Moreno.
Así es.
We're two simple brothers. We just we got raised up and we were born in New Jersey, and we've been together since. We haven't lost a beat, thank God. We're just two simple brothers, traveling the world, entertaining people, and enjoying ourselves at the same time. We try to bring a nice message to the youngsters who wants to be like us.
Of course.
Not like me, I'm old already. They want to be young, stay young.
No, y funny you mentioned that, Nelson, porque que dices que lo hacen para la nueva generación.
Sure.
Cuando nosotros éramos pequeños, our father siempre nos decía, miren los videos también de los hermanos Moreno, son hermanos, ustedes también son hermanos, ustedes tienen que ser como ellos.
Qué lindo.
Sí, no, desde pequeños siempre nos enseñaba videos, nos enseñaba la música, y la verdad que nosotros siempre es un honor para tener a ustedes acá siempre compartiendo con nosotros.
Así es.
And, José, let's start off with the first question.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's do it.
Bueno, comenzando, yo sé, mira, de todos los videos que hemos visto desde chiquitos, hemos visto videos de los 90s, early 2000s and all that, and when all that time passed, we've also seen, different singers, with you guys, if you can, explain, what singers, you guys have had and, the experience that you had with them as well.
Yeah.
Sure, of course. Well, as you know, we started without singing. I'm a banjo player. Actually a percussion player. I started playing congas when I was younger. And my brother's a trombone player, and he also plays a little percussion because he was raised next to me, and we started doing things together at home. But then it was decided to do a group, and we met a couple of guys, and they wasn't ready. But as a person that has knowledge or experience of noticing new talent, so we give breaks. I gave break to a couple of them, and then we had other ones that knew, so we had like 5 guys in the front at one time.
Nice.
So the first one will be the lead, the second one will follow him, and like that. And the last one became, because they come and go. But we only train them and teach them what they have to sing for us.
Right.
Anything else is extra.
Right.
If you do better, we sound better. If you stay the same, it's okay because that's what we wanted. And so today, some of them are not around, and you don't hear them around because that's all they learn, our stuff, our material. And yes, they can build another new life, but I guess they're happy where they are, and that's why you don't see them today. Now, we can mention names, and we don't have to mention names because you've seen them on records and our records and all that.
Yeah.
But yes, we had different ones that were great as well, but they didn't have the opportunity to record with us.
Got you.
And they're working either by themselves or with other groups.
Okay.
But, more than like 10 guys
that
have been through here, but only maybe 5 recorded with us.
Got you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I mean, I remember, seeing like a bunch of videos, you guys at Madison Square Garden, en la Feria del Hogar in Peru.
That was a great concert, Madison Square Garden.
Oh, man, the energy was insane.
The capacity, and changing a little subject a little bit.
Of course.
The capacity in the Madison Square Garden is like 22,000 people, and boy, that was a great concert. I remember that when we first started, there was fan clubs at that time, right? Mm-hmm. People made fan clubs. And they was told Rolf Mercado, which was in charge of those concerts in New York at that time, rest in peace, hey, you got to put Los Hermanos Moreno. They're great. They're a new band, and you got to see these guys. You got to put them in Madison Square Garden. That fan club went around New York City to the Bronx, to Queens, Jersey, anywhere we were performing, and they made people sign a petition that we should be in Madison Square Garden.
Hey, but that's good.
But were you guys part of RMM?
Yes.
Okay, but you guys weren't part of the concert. Like, you guys originally weren't part of the concert.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And so at that time, there's a lot of emails went out and a lot of petitions, and he put them in an envelope and shipped them to his office. Until he gave us an opportunity, and we went to the Madison Square Garden to open up for big artists like Scal de Leon, Grupo Nietzsche, Richie Ray, Bobby Cruz.
It was a big concert. I think of like Luis Enrique.
Yeah. So we didn't know what we were going about. We just having fun, and I told my brother we just got to play like we normally play. Like, we were excited to be at Madison Square Garden, but. You play as you go. You're there because people like what you do, so you don't do nothing different. You just play your music,
exactly,
and enjoy the crowd and make it happen. And that's what happened. We opened up the show. It was a great show. I mean, you could talk a little bit about that show.
I mean, I'm sure it was nerve-wracking though.
Not really. It was fun. It was fun because we had nothing to lose.
Right. And then, I mean, los nervios están ahí antes. Claro. Cuando están en la tarima, ahí es cuando los nervios se van.
That happens with us too. Like, it's always like after, like when we're singing the first song, we still got that, like, the nervousness. But after that, man, it's like.
Well, the most important thing when you're doing that first song, you got to captivate that audience. Exactly. You keep them for 45 to an hour, and you got them. So getting back to the Madison Square Garden, I mean, I remember the security said you can't go off the stage because the security said, you just can't do that.
I just did it anyway.
I looked at my brother who did it anyway. We went down there, and that was a blast. We went all over Madison Square Garden. We had a flag, and it's on video. I mean, if you look it up on YouTube,
we've seen it.
It's there. We've seen it. And I'm very happy that we did that because Rolf Mercado did a video, and that video went viral. And that's what really put us on the map. Thank you.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So, tell us a little about, Willie, tell us a little bit about tus inicios. ¿Cómo comenzaste? ¿Quién fueron tus influencias? How did you... Sorry?
At my age now?
No.
It's going to be long. It's going to be real long.
No, like, en los años 1600.
Comenzamos a los 70. En los 70, no. Well, let's start with when I started performing, right? So there was a group in the block. They rehearsed. So the congas, percussion, caught my attention. I always liked salsa music anyways. But then I kind of like it. I got closer to them. I got to meet them. And, of course, knowing me, I like to work hard and earn my job or whatever it took at that time just to get to that position. So I became a band boy for the local group. It was called, can we mention names?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
They used to be called the Wild Indians.
I remember those.
They used to play like
they had long
wild,
hair.
So
they had long hair.
But then they started getting into salsa, right? Okay. That's when I came in, when I heard them playing that. So they gave me the opportunity to carry some congas and bongos for the guys and whatever. And I would like learn the tunes. And once the guy got sick, Willie, try it. I said, okay, sure. So I did it. And responsible, of course. You have to be very responsible when you're going to start something that you like, because you can lose the opportunity.
Right.
So I did it. They gave me the opportunity. The guy came back. I said, okay, start carrying again. He left again. They gave me the opportunity. They said, it's been 2 weeks. I think you're not ready. I said, okay. So I'll carry again. He came back. Then this time they got very angry that they said, Willie, do it again. I did it. It's yours now. You're improved. Because I went home and studied,
Yeah.
I wanted that. So, okay, from there, then there's a trombone player in there. His name was Jimmy Botch. So him and I was in there for a while. And then my brother was doing trombone from school, right? He got the opportunity to learn there. And so I put him into this other orquesta called La Orquesta Nueva, which was Constanza. Ahí estaba Ruben Bach, el hermano de
Jimmy.
Y Frankie Ruiz. And then from there, I started learning more. Orquesta Nueva wanted me to go with them. So I went with them. So now I'm with Frankie Ruiz, him, Charlie Lopez, and all the guys. Okay, cool. Jimmy stood over there with Orquesta. That band a while later became Orquesta Caliente. New director and all that. So it was getting popular. But La Orquesta Nueva got more popular. So we did what we had to do, and then I got, more friends came up to me, said, listen, en el barrio hay una banda que se llama, they used to work for the LP Line Percussion. So now I went with them, Conjunto Caché. And another guy, Sergio George came from there.
Sergio George,
yeah. Kid, I was a kid. So anyways, from there, other things came up. I went up with Jose Bello group because I know Ramon Rodriguez, and the guys. And Papo Bulgo used to be a conga player for Conto Caché. And he played with the Clásico and all the guys. And Junior, the bango player. Willie, come out, go on stage, do a solo. So did solos and all that. We'll get a good band, we'll put you in there. That's when Jose Bello came in. Lo Mejor Record recorded him. So I was there for like 3 years. So after 3 years, I used to work in the bank.
Yeah, you were telling me that in the car, yeah.
I used to work in the bank. And then I used to catch a check for this guy. And he used to come, I see you in the Corso and all these clubs. And we'll say, Bello, I know you're good. I sing. I said, okay, cool. But every Friday it took like almost a year. I said, okay, I'll try it one day. I talked to the piano player, Jose Bello. And I said, listen, I need 2 tunes or whatever. And brought them down. I said, we're going to rehearse. I'm going to call a piano player, bass player. I'm going to call my brother to come down. And if it works out, I'll leave my brother in charge until I continue getting more music and stuff. And sure enough, we started like that. And it got so good that the guy started doing rehearsal with another group, but him singing.
Oh, yeah?
I said, it's okay. So one day, right, we went to his house. They were rehearsing or whatever. And so I said, don't worry about it. Shh, let's get out of here. And then I had so many good musicians, popular, whatever. And, I kept on going with my arrangements and stuff. And so then when we were ready, I said, okay, now I'm going to leave Jose Bello's group. And here we are. Mm-hmm. And then we started looking for, because I got a lot of connections with booking agents and record guys and management and all that good stuff. And traveling Colombia, everywhere with Santo Domingo, everywhere with Jose Bello and Conjunto Clásico, because that was the company together. Mm-hmm. So then this is the way we started. Los Hermanos Moreno. We tell one booking agent, listen, I got to prove if you want us to be in we'll give you a sample that we recorded and whoa. No, I don't like that name. And I go, what? You don't like the name? So what am I doing here, right? So I left, go to another one, and then he calls back, hey, this is okay, here's this amount of money, buys clothes for the uniform for the band, and we're in. I said, you sure? Okay, so I took it, ran, bought clothes, until today. We're doing our thing, But it was a good thing. It wasn't easy, because I had to leave my brother take care of the group for a while, and I didn't know what was going on when he was there by himself, and you kind of panic because you're leaving some place that you're traveling already to start, and then with family, I say, oh, now I really got to be there,
Right?
So and here we are for like 35 years already. We've been doing good. Thank God that that we had a blessing from the Lord.
Yeah,
the Lord is good.
I just want to comment something. That was what you said before. when we first went to New York to get a booking agent, the guy did not like Los Hermanos Moreno. He didn't like that name at all. He said, that's not commercial. I said, what we were talking. I said, what name do we have? We don't have another name. We're brothers, and the last name is Moreno, so let's do Los Hermanos Moreno.
Right.
He didn't like that. But, 35 years later, here we are telling you that, thank God, it was successful, and people love it all over the world.
Did he tell you guys the name that he had in mind or no?
He didn't have no name, but...
No.
He just didn't like, why Los Hermanos Moreno? I said, we're brothers, and the last name is Moreno.
Right. And it's our group.
And we're going to stick to the name, and and that's what happened. So it was pretty cool. It was exciting.
We have a funny story, too, about the band's name, too, like our band.
There you go.
So before, we were called Rumba y Sabor de los Hermanos Galvan. That was the name that our father gave us, right?
Yeah.
But it was such a long name.
Too long.
It's too long,
Yeah,
right?
way too long.
And
People would announce us, like people would be like, okay, next up we got Rumba y Sabor de los Hermanos Galvan.
And there would be instances where we perform like at the congresses and things like that, and it's American people announcing us, so there'd be Rumba y Sabor. So it got to the point like after 5, 6, 7 years, we the band was playing that. The announcers just practically gave up. They're like, "Hey, Los Hermanos Galvan," and then we would start.
Nice.
So it wasn't until the pandemic where, like, my brother and I, we sat down and I was just like, "Hey, I know it's gonna bother Dad, but we need to change the name.
Right.
Like, let's kind of like rebrand and do all that stuff, And we were actually working on a new single at the time.
Nice.
And then I was just like, "Hey, like, what do you think of Hermano Galvan y Orquesta?" And he was just like, that actually sounds pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So on the demo, I told the guy who was doing la maqueta, I'm just like, "Hey, can you add like, like an ad lib of Hermano Galvan y Orquesta?"
Mm-hmm.
And we looked at each other like, that's
Yeah,
it.
we stuck
It
with it.
clicked.
It's done.
It clicked.
It clicked.
I remember we showed that to our dad, and our dad was just like, "I don't know.
Yeah.
People know you as Rumba y Sabor Los Hermanos
Right,
Galvan." And I'm just like, not really, because people just call us Los Hermanos Galvan regardless.
Yeah, they would always just
they
announce
wouldn't
it
even
like that.
say like the whole first part of our name.
Yeah, not all the time Dad's going to be right.
Papá, no fui yo, lo dijo.
Lo están diciendo los hermanos Moreno.
But it sounds good.
Wait,
Los Hermanos
no Los Hermanos Moreno.
Nelson Moreno.
You involved with me.
They're like, don't involve me in this.
No.
I will love you, Dad. Don't worry about it.
No, and going back to what my brother was saying, speaking about our dad was, he showed us like when he introduced salsa.
Wasn't he a musician, your dad?
No,
he always
our dad-
wanted to be a musician. And it's
Okay.
funny because when you guys went to Peru, mi papá los vio en vivo.
Wow.
Los vio en vivo,
En la
yeah.
Feria del Hogar and
rico.
en la playa. And I don't know. My dad said that he saw you guys a million times.
Yeah, I
in
think he
Peru.
conversated with you guys about it, and I think he remembered exactly in Pisco. I think you guys were in Ica.
Yes,
in
Ica.
Peru.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
You know the famous
Yeah.
thing about Ica, right?
91.
They do cachina.
That's what my dad said that.
And we went to the factory and we took off our shoes and
you guys
we started
squashed
squashing those grapes, baby.
The grapes.
And it was nice though. What an experience though.
Yeah.
And then they said that if you drink that, los cables se te cruzan. So yeah, it was true. We went to the concert. Everybody was bombed out, man. We had a good time in Ica.
Yeah, you said that was in 91.
91.
Yeah, my dad,
91.
that was the year my brother was born.
Funny story about you guys, about that year, 91. When you guys had that concert, my dad actually left Lima to go to that concert. And he was
Wow.
gone. I don't know if I think he told you guys a
What a
story that he was
privilege.
gone for like 3 or 4 days. And then he came back.
Yeah, and then he came back like nothing happened.
I was
at
a
that time,
baby.
no one had like cell phones and things
Right.
like that, especially in Peru.
Well, let me tell you something. Peru was the first country that we visited out of New York or New Jersey.
Nice.
Wow.
So we will never forget that experience.
Who was the promoter or
Wow. It was
that took you
Radio
guys?
Mar with who was the
Rafi Mercado, I remember.
Was
Yeah.
it Coco?
I remember.
Cocogiles?
Cocogiles.
Yes.
Cocogiles.
Yes.
Oh my God, that
That
guy
was Feria del Hogar.
that guy was all over the radio and
Yeah.
There
this
used
guy.
to be a Radio Mar Plus.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Radio Mar.
Yeah.
So they I guess between them and Ralph Mercado or the office brought us here, and I remember I didn't know what to expect So when we got here, at that time, they used to have a press conference right in the airport, and that was so cool, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it felt like I wasn't used to that. So
Superstar.
hey, but I loved it. It was nice. It was an experience.
You felt like a superstar.
Oh yeah. I felt good. I felt good, and my brother felt good, and the whole band. At that time, we traveled with the whole band.
Wow.
So the whole band was there.
I will go to my brother. Relax.
Yeah.
I've been through this already. Colombia. Because I did that in Colombia with Jose Bello. We used to have all that press and all that. But coming back, to how we started and all that, and recording was something else that I had this guy, Angel Bobolón Vasquez, do my arrangements.
Rest in peace.
Because I was looking for originals.
Yeah.
But he did a few copy tunes, cover tunes. So then I went to Puerto Rico. I know musicians of La Sonora Ponceña.
Yeah.
And I knew Papo anyway because we performed together with this band, Jose Bello. I got to give it to him because we were all over. We were popular then. So the musicians, I told them about the plan, and he goes, why don't you come over, PR? We'll talk to Papo to make an arrangement or whatever. He knows you already, whatever. And so I said, okay, fine, that sounds good. So when I went, my family's right around the corner, Papa Luca. We went over there with his friend, musician, and my friend, and he said, no, sure enough, I'll hop in the car, let's go around the corner. So he went to meet a cousin of mine, of my wife's. So the whole percussion was a family of my wife. So my conga player, which is my brother-in-law, is their cousin. I said, oh man, so we're family already.
Right, it's connection.
So he goes, let's go around the corner to Fernand's house. Fernand was his conga player. Again, my wife's cousin. So when, how you know, Lichi, your wifey. I said, oh, okay. So he asked him, what is the lyric for Bochinchosa? Because he had forgotten, Papa Luca forgot the lyrics. So he sang it to him and said, okay, now I remember. Then went another around the corner to another guy's house. Now this guy's a composer. So we went and got another tune called Canto un Amigo. And we hardly play that tune, but it's a great tune. So that was our demo right there, 2 songs. Well, come tomorrow, I'll give you a call. Come tomorrow, pick up the arrangements, 2 arrangements in one night. So I go, he calls me at noontime, I go at noontime, he's sitting on his bed with a little piano, put it on top of his leg and started playing. You like it? This is it? And it goes like this. I love it. Okay, next. I like it. It's yours. Go. We came down. We started recording. And then we had everything going on set for the piano that we were putting it that night. It was being played that night. So he was in town. And my friend goes,
Who's he? Papa Luca, right?
Papa Luca está aquí.
Papa Luca, yeah.
So we went in the studio. It was an attic, which is called today Skylight. It's very famous.
Oh, no, yeah. I know
So he came down. He came up, put the piano in. Done. Then we took it, showed it around. He knew somebody that the name is, his name was, it still is, he's still alive, William Gonzalez. Then he had recordings, some cash to record a local group. So he did them. And then we had it you got anything left over, record us. So he knew already. And I said, yeah. And then I go, and we could get Papo to produce the whole CD. The LP. So LP. Yeah. And he goes, who's Papo? And I'm like, Papo, look, Sonora Ponceña. Oh, well, And then...
what year was this?
This was in 85.
Oh, wow. But Sonora Ponceña ya era Sonora Ponceña.
Oh, yeah. Claro.
Yeah. So.
But the guy was he had money. He didn't. Yeah. He was Puerto Rican. He is Puerto Rican, but he didn't know. Sometimes, say, you like salsa? Yeah. Do you know Los Hermanos Moreno, Los Hermanos Galvan? No. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, maybe your parents, though.
Yeah.
Do, So, we did that, and the guy said, yeah, he'll record us. And he became very good friend of Papo, so we did the whole 9 yards. We came up with that LP called No Me Vuelvo a Enamorar, right?
Yes, No Me Vuelvo a Enamorar.
And
number 1.
Yeah, and it took a year. It took a year maybe to people get to notice, because we only had this guy, and he had no connection with radio and stuff. But then we started getting connections. And even Papo said, I'll take it to PR, and then told the guy, that you guys, that I produced it or whatever. And yeah, it started working. And we worked hard going to the city, all around the festivals, and giving to DJs and stuff. And, we're starting to get a name, but no performance.
Yeah.
So finally, we get hired because the guy that recorded us have friends that own clubs. So we started playing for them. And then one night, we're performing. We're coming to Brooklyn now. Brooklyn. Look at the time. It's like 2 o'clock or 3. We finished. We're over there up to 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So we did it. Then from there, another one, another one. And then finally started playing on the radio. We got interviews and all that. And then now Rafi Mercado hears about it. And I said, I want you guys. I said, but we're already I'll buy it off him.
Write a contract.
I'll buy the contract.
¿Y esto fue en qué año?
Huh?
With Ralph. Now, like, what year is this?
No, we're talking about 87.
Okay.
And then 87.
So he bought out the contract.
And then, yeah, Rafi Mercado, man, he was the man. I remember. So finally we got there. And they talked it over the way we had to do. Meanwhile, we was performing already Copacabana, all this
Palladium.
all these clubs, all of them, though. You name them.
Yeah.
96, Broadway 96 and all that. Then we recorded one LP, the first one with Rafi Mercado, and that's the one that hit in Peru.
Nice.
What was the name of that album?
Contramano.
Para alegrarte la vida.
Para alegrarte la vida.
And that's exactly what lo que está hablando Juancito Piratex, ¿no?
Sí.
Que ese fue el álbum
Para alegrarte la vida.
que estaba
pana.
todos los éxitos.
Gracias a Coco
we-
Giles, Radio
yeah.
Mar Plus pegó todos los temas.
But we traveled with that LP to Colombia, to Panama, to Curacao. We did all that. And it only took one time. Coco Giles, got a contract with Rafi. We went there, and we're still in there.
Yeah.
And forget about now the other countries.
Yeah.
We're there. Believe it or not, we get hired through Peruvians. We're going to Europe. Who hires us?
A Peruvian promoter.
Peruvian. We go to Patterson. Who hires us?
A Peruvian. Hey, you guys came here.
Vienen acá los peruanos.
See what I'm saying? So it's like, we're yours, man.
Yeah,
That-
no, Los
it-
Hermanos
it's
Moreno son adorados
family,
en Perú.
Family. It came one time that I would be like, ustedes no son ya mi amigo, mi amigas, y no son fans. What do you mean? Son una familia grande.
Son una familia.
Una familia. Here we are. And
Yeah.
we love you guys love us, and here we are.
Yeah,
I see.
it's a mutual love. It's a mutual love,
beautiful.
with you guys and the Peruvians.
But that's the way the story, began of Los Hermanos Moreno. But we have more stuff because, Nelson did a couple of things too that when I was in New York doing all these connections or, talking to them because I already knew them, what I was about to come out with my brother and stuff. So he went out there and took care of the group that we did, and then I told one of the guys, listen, you're going to work for me, but you're going to play my instrument until I come back. And then to take that guy out, it wasn't easy. It hurt it,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it is what it is, a promise is a promise.
Right.
So that was good for us. So now, now since he's in a good position, he didn't have to go hustle like I did with different bands.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't have a big story like, I used to work with this guy or Nelson used to work with that. No, we became our own little, band that we kept on going and we respect each other and we always do our best to do better. Can we knock this CD out? Can we knock the other one? No, you cannot knock down the first one or the second one, but yes, they're going to like the rest of the stuff. And like you guys said, you like the energy on stage and all that. So
Yeah.
that's the way.
And back in the day, I think if I recall correctly, the like the CDs or los LPs eran de dos lados, right?
Correcto.
Yes.
Like a side A and a side B.
Yes.
And yo no llegué a disfrutar. Tengo 27. So, Willie, I know you're already looking at me funny. So, that's because we were talking in the car.
I forgot I'm that old.
We were talking in the car y estuvimos hablando como de diferentes estilos de salsa, ¿no?
Yeah.
That like, como nosotros vamos a tocar con los hermanos Moreno, no es lo mismo lo que vamos a tocar con otros artistas. Así cada uno tiene un estilo.
Tiene su estilo diferente.
Claro, entonces yo dije, claro, entonces un músico de 20 y tanto a 30 van a poder hacer esos cambios. A comparado a alguien de 50, yo dijo, thanks.
Te amo.
No, pero regresando a ese álbum de Para Alegrarte la Vida, I'm actually looking at it right now. Todos los temas del lado de Side A and Side B pegaron.
Claro.
Yes.
Pegaron.
Yes.
Se me cansó el corazón. I remember the arrangement was done by Sergio George. I remember that.
Correct.
And Un Hombre Busca a una Mujer,
Wow.
one of my favorite songs of Luis Miguel.
There you go.
Yeah, tú le puedes preguntar a mi hermano, yo me muero por Luismi. Yo me muero por Luismi.
He's great. He's great.
Yeah, and Kuto Soto, if I'm not mistaken, was the arranger or?
You know, I don't remember who did that arrangement, but boy, it sounds great. I don't know. So many
Yeah,
years ago.
I mean, that's what I have here.
Yes.
No Hay Motivo, Isidro,
Yes.
you know.
Una pequeña
a ver.
anécdota de No Hay Motivo.
Okay.
Yo me acuerdo que cuando yo era niño, cuando estaba creciendo, yo tengo un tío, saludos para mi tío Pepe.
Ahí está, ¿ve?
Que mi tío Pepe me dijo, sobrino, quiero hacerte escuchar una canción de Los Hermanos Moreno. Pum. Y era No Hay Motivo.
Wow.
Pa-param, pam, 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 tararam, pam, pam.
Y me dijo, sobrino, esta canción se baila calato, me decía. Calato. Lo que no sabe qué es calato es desnudo.
Sí.
Oh. So you dance a song.
You know when you grab your girl and you're just like, nah.
He's like, nephew, this is the song that you dance naked.
So nasty.
Yeah.
You gotta grab your lady when you're older, and you gotta dance with him like
Exactly.
this, naked.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, damn. I'm like, I gotta make love to this song one day. Tengo que hacer el amor con esta canción un día entonces.
Oh, yeah.
Going back. Well, now going back to the CD.
Where you was? Where did you go?
I don't know, man. I don't know. No, so, después de ese motivo, that's when we go to side B. You know, Yo la harás. And I, it's uno de mis temas favoritos de ustedes.
Wow.
Yo la harás.
Que es una canción que también nosotros tenemos parte de nuestro repertorio.
Yeah.
So we actually do
Qué
also
bonito.
that song as well. We do a couple of you guys songs because we love you guys.
Thank you. We love you more, man.
And you're, yes.
You know what you can do?
A ver,
What song you like?
Yo la harás.
No, you mentioned another one.
No hay motivo.
Hombre.
Un hombre busca a una mujer.
Un hombre busca a una mujer.
You sing, right?
Of course.
You sing?
Yeah.
There you go. You start, you end it.
There you go.
Hey, tonight?
Whenever you're ready. Tonight, whenever you're ready.
Hey, might as well.
If you know it, you can sing it.
Actually, Un hombre busca a una mujer, parte de nuestro repertorio también. Lo hemos hecho, yo la he cantado, mi hermano me hacía las armonías.
That's
So,
great.
hey, that'll be a...
Yeah.
Mira, Willie lo ha dicho acá, en Contado y Cantado.
Eso
Claro.
significa que hoy día en Annandale, en Diamond
Diamond
Lounge.
Lounge, ahí.
¿Viste cómo yo busco las oportunidades?
Sí.
Ahí está.
No,
Es una oportunidad.
Aplauso para los
Aplauso para
oportunidades.
los oportunidades.
Esas son las oportunidades que llegan en el
Que
momento.
llegan en el momento inesperado.
Claro.
Imagínate grabándola con nosotros.
Ah.
Wow.
Me parece,
Mira,
eso fue
hacemos una cosa.
What a troublemaker.
Mira. Es que hay una historia, pero no podemos hablar de esa historia porque involucra a otras personas. No podemos hablar mucho del tema, pero él acaba de decir que para hacer una cosita con ese tema.
Ahí está.
Pero puede ser,
va,
quién sabe, en the near future.
Yeah.
Pues, quizás
Well, you know,
hacemos
the future is today,
the
right
future
now.
is today.
It's not tomorrow, because we don't.
Y hoy
Not
día-
yesterday.
Exactly.
No, ya que tenemos a Juancito Piratex.
Claro.
Witness.
We have a witness. Pero regresando al lado B. Al lado B de Para Alegrarte la Vida. Tu mamá no quiso. Uno también, un tema bravo.
Gracias.
Para gente bailador, o sea, para que dibujen por ahí.
rumberos,
Ajá, para que
Rumberos,
dibujen,
para los
claro,
rumberos. Y también yo creo que este es uno de los temas que cuando apenas la gente escucha la introducción ya saben qué canción es. Dale jamón.
Por supuesto. Que por sí, hoy día escuché.
Con ropa.
¿Ah?
Con ropa, sin ropa.
Esto sin ropa, sin ropa.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Siempre sin ropa, siempre sin ropa.
No, mira, tú sabes que when you're doing a production, like con un tema o tu LP o álbum, you need to catch the people's attention from the beginning.
Correct.
From the beginning of the song. Y esas canciones de lo que yo acabo de mencionar cada uno tiene esa introducción que la gente ya sabe qué canción es.
Claro, claro.
You know, and you know, going now to another album that you guys did together was Together.
Right.
You know, to be honest, I don't recall what songs exactly were on it, pero hay temas también que pegaron bastante. If you guys remember what songs were there.
So many songs. I mean, we have done like 7 or 8 albums, and you know, it's funny because when you go out of the country, you have to play the classics.
Of course.
Right. That's
You
what
can't
everybody
play
wants.
Lo que la
nothing
gente
new,
sabe.
You can't play nothing different. And they ask for these tunes, and you know, normally the promoters gives us the list of tunes that we got to play, and it's normally the classics, los temas que tú has mencionado, el álbum para adelante la vida.
Yeah. Now I found what's on Together.
Okay.
Okay. Número 1, Quimbombo.
Oh my God.
So ese es el tema que yo creo que identifica.
National anthem in Peru.
I think esa es la canción, en mi humilde opinión, que identifica a los hermanos Moreno.
Right.
Hoy día escuché una versión de Quimbombo que no voy a decir quién está, pero es una tremenda versión que hoy día me enseñó mi tío.
Mira, ¿tú sabes lo que me molesta de eso?
¿Qué?
Es que nosotros fuimos al hotel para reencontrarnos, para saludar y todo eso, para venirnos acá. ¿Ya? Y acá está lo más gracioso. Supuestamente yo iba a traer a ellos dos.
Ajá.
¿Ya? Y de ahí Nelson me dice, no, I'll go with Jorge.
Ah.
Entonces, al final tú le enseñas el tema que al final yo le iba a que al final quizás me ibas a enseñar a mí.
Willy, se lo soñamos ahorita, Willy.
Bueno, yo cuando llegué aquí, yo le dije a mi hermano, ¿tú sabes quién es él? Oye, yo te pregunté, tú eres el timbalero, ¿verdad?
Sí. Yeah.
Yo dije, mi hermano se fue, que no tenía entre mí. Y yo soy bongocero, este es mi bongocero. Este es mi bongocero. We hanged out. And I told him, we hanged out good.
Yeah.
Entonces tú has hablado con él la última vez que llegaron, yo calladito. Yo dejo que comiencen, tú sabes, que hablen para que se vengan a conocer uno bien, ¿verdad?
Claro.
Ya nos conocemos bien.
Claro, sí.
And we hit it, so I want you guys to hit it. So they hit it. Now he comes with me. Now we hitting it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, bro. But he got the benefit from this.
Yeah, he did.
But I could have played him too. I had it in my phone.
No, pero eso es una sorpresa que los hermanos Moreno después van a dar.
Bueno, aquí hay una. Eso es para ustedes.
Ahí está.
Aquí hay una.
Claro.
De ese bonche. De ese celebrando los 35.
Bueno, regresando a Together. Ya. Quimbombo es número 1 que, de nuevo, para mí esa es la canción que identifica a los hermanos Moreno.
Tengo otra.
A ver.
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué es? Recuérdate cuando tú comienzas una relación, se empiezan gustándose, empiezan amándose y pues se casan. Nosotros pensamos cuál fue el primer LP que fue que se dio a conocer a los hermanos Moreno, fue Sopa de Pichón.
Claro.
Sopa de pichón.
Right?
Yeah.
Después la jeva se cansó de la sopa pichón y lo que pide, dale jamón.
Exactly.
Because, right? Now, this follows this one.
Hasta hay soneos que ustedes mencionan.
Thank you.
Sopa de pichón. Claro.
Entonces, para darle el palo, it took the third CD, the third LP. ¿Y cuál es que tú dices?
Quimbombo.
¿Y qué es? Comida también.
Claro.
¿Y resbala o no resbala? Para yuca seca.
Mira,
Right? So you see. So you see.
Time out.
Primero, espérate.
Pero
primero,
que responda, ¿sí o no?
No, que no responda. Porque primero se alimentó.
Ajá.
Sopa. What we do first in the dinner? We eat soup.
Yeah.
And then we...
Yeah. Es que
Y
ahora
fue el segundo.
esta que piensa que se resbala, no
De
resbala.
segundo, es a reminder. Remember, ya tomaste sopa de pichón, ahora lo que tú quieres comer ahora. Pues, jamón, right?
Yeah.
Y ahora, pues seguimos comiendo.
Yeah.
Así
And
es,
then the
así es.
fourth one was going to be salchicha con huevo.
Oh my God.
Salchicha con huevo. Yeah. But then we say, oh, we're already full. We're getting full.
Yeah, we're getting full. We're getting full.
Yeah.
As y'all can tell, I'm a little full too.
No, you're good.
I'm still good?
No, you're good, baby.
yeah.
You work on it.
I'm good.
You can work it out.
Yeah.
Not me and nothing. We get that big, we can't work it out.
Bueno, eso sí, pero desde la última vez que hemos visto a ellos dos, han bajado de peso.
Sí.
Han bajado de peso.
Han bajado bastante de peso.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but y'all gotta teach me what you guys do.
Well, I told you, I got you. You know,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
after the show.
after the show, we'll talk about
Definitely.
He'll-
'Cause you
he'll
definitely
give you the
gotta,
secrets.
definitely got to get in shape.
it. Exactly.
Pero José,
I'll
sí,
take
sí.
you to the gym.
Yeah, let's go to the gym. Sigue hablando de ese álbum porque hay una canción que es mi favorita canción de los hermanos Moreno ahí en ese
Que
álbum.
yo sé cuál es porque es uno de mis favoritos también.
No.
Por alguien como tú sería capaz de buscar.
Not that one.
Not that one.
Not that
wait,
one.
wait. Are you talking about the English one?
No. Well,
Okay.
that one too.
Okay,
Oh.
ahí me agarraste. ¿Cuál es?
Más allá de todo.
Oh, claro, claro, yeah.
He knows. He knows. That's
yes.
No, y tú sabes que eso es uno de los temas que la gente que sabe
Luis Miguel.
realmente de
Luis
salsa.
Miguel. Luis Miguel.
No, en Luis Miguel,
Yes,
yeah, of
yes.
course. Pero esa canción, Más allá de todo, y me sorprendió que, es más, Juancito Piratex también me ha dicho lo mismo. Digo, oye, ¿qué temas van a hacer? Yo le dije, sí, están haciendo esto, están haciendo esto, están haciendo esto. Oye, dime, ¿van a hacer Más allá de todo? Y dije, claro. Pero en sí, eso es un tema que son para que realmente conoce la salsa.
Sí,
No era así un tema así tan comercial como Quimombó, Dale Jamón. Ese es un tema que la gente que realmente ha escuchado salsa, que la salsa que no todos saben.
Wow.
O van a un Congress, un Salsa Congress en Chicago, sale esa canción.
Wow.
Yo fui a un Bachata Congress en agosto.
Qué rico.
Oye, salió ese tema y yo dije,
Wow.
those are my uncles. Those are my uncles right there. Yo,
Yes,
y
yes.
bailé calato.
No, y hay una canción, porque esa canción lo canta Nelson. Y hay otra canción que también lo canta
I
Nelson.
talking about the English one.
Reunited.
Reunited. That's my favorite Peaches and Herb song.
Reunited
And it feels so good. Yeah. Esta canción también es para bailar lo que?
Calato.
Qué rico.
Y que yo te dije a ti que yo no canto porque no quiero y no, yo sé que no puedo, ¿cierto?
Él no canta, pero encanta.
Así es.
Quisieron que yo lo hiciera, decir, mira, yo no estoy para cantar. No, mano, no. Pero ese tema, el arreglo fue de Isidro.
Claro.
Y casi no se toca.
Really?
¿Cuál
que
tema tú
debemos
estás
tocar
hablando?
Más allá de todo,
O
¿right?
sea, de todo.
Ese arreglo, si no me equivoco, fue de Willie Ruiz.
Oh, Willie Ruiz.
Sí, en Nueva York.
Oh, no, you got me there. I took it out this whole
No,
time. I
Willie.
thought it was Isidro
I
as well.
thought it was Isidro too, I forgot.
Yeah.
Porque esa noche se grabó y yo me fui primero adelante porque estaban grabando para Pensilvania. Después tú llegaste
estaban tocando
con el
tú estabas
demo.
tocando.
Ah, y un tema bien sabroso también de ese álbum, which one is it? Hazme el amor. Hazme el amor también. Esos son temas que realmente saben de la salsa.
That's the one I heard today that said Isidro. And then I called him.
Yeah.
I called him. He said, I'll call you back because I'm in a theater with his wife. You know, long weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, esos temas. De nuevo, siempre. De nuevo, cuando alguien está hablando de salsa, ustedes están en esa conversación. En serio.
Y hay una
Gracias.
canción que a mí me gusta, que él la cantó, que en Puerto Rico cuando fuimos a tocar, un nene chiquito la cantó.
Wow.
Which one?
¿Dónde estabas tú?
¿Dónde
¿Dónde estaba?
tú?
Which album was that one?
That's on the Combo Records, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because that one, I
Yes.
don't recall if it was on
¿Dónde estabas tú cuando empecé a querer? Yep.
Oh, no, the album is called Donde Estabas Tú as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, we normally do
Oh, wow,
classics.
y'all had dark hair.
Yes.
Y'all had
No, what, you
dark
thought they
hair.
had canas todo este tiempo? Desde
No,
pequeño.
that's not what I was getting at. No, and also Willie, at that time you only did the mustache.
Yeah, that was the style.
Yeah.
The Ron Jeremy.
But the
Ron
white hair is because I always wanted a second job. So as a painter. So I paint ceilings.
Ah, entonces por
So
eso.
they drip.
Ah,
The
ya, por
white
eso
paint
nomás.
drip.
So he
I forgot
wanted to be a
use the
silver
hat.
fox. He wanted to be a silver fox. Bueno, regresando a las preguntas. Este año están cumpliendo 35 años.
No lo creo. Tan rápido, güey.
35 years. You know, how does it feel, reaching this far?
I thought I was older, but yeah, 35 feels good.
No, 35 años de vida artística. De carrera
De
artística.
carrera de Hermanos Moreno. Así
Carrera
de que
Moreno.
formaron los Hermanos Moreno.
You know-
you ain't that funny, Willie.
I tried.
I say to that 35 years went so fast.
I bet.
In the blink of an eye.
You know what's funny? I understand where that comment's coming from because, back in April, we turned 13 years.
Wow.
And to be honest, the time felt like it went by like
Yeah.
this.
But when you're busy, like, and at one time we were so busy traveling all over the world, and we still do, but now it's a little more less. We choose places to go. But you're so busy that time flies so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in Colombia, you're in Panama, you're in Venezuela, you're in Peru, all over the States. And then a lot of times we didn't even have time to go to the studio and record records because we were so busy.
Yeah.
But 35 years and as an artist, I think it feels so great. I think that, I always tell kids that they say, hey, how do you do it? It's so, you guys just stick together so long.
Yeah.
I said, well, basically, number one is you got to listen to your mom. You got to make sure you go, there's always two paths. There's always the left, the wrong and the right path. And I'm sure your mother and father will guide you to the right one. Stay out of drugs.
Yeah.
Stay out of drugs like we do. Stay out of drugs. And, basically you have to choose the right path and listen to your mom and side and stay in school. That's very important.
Yeah.
So these are the things we tell the youngsters what to do.
Yeah.
And that's how we reach 35 years, and God knows how many years we're going to continue. Because we love what we do. Music is a great thing to do, traveling the world. And what better traveling with my brother next to me?
Of course.
Yeah.
You guys know that. You guys are brothers.
Yeah. No. And we agree with what you said. Listen to your mom, listen to your dad, because that's exactly what we did ever since we were kids.
Only with the change name.
Except the change.
But you know what? It worked out though. It worked out.
I think
But what happens when you tell the kid to do the right thing and he's trying so hard he can't get it?
Right.
Yeah.
A guy that tries, because I try to teach some guys to play bongos or congas, and he doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
So why you tell a guy like that? You know what I tell him?
A ver.
I'm not, Papito, by any chance, you didn't think about something else to become a painter like me?
Like me?
That's fair, right? That's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair. It's just like the musician. He's performing and he does a mistake.
Yeah.
And then you're on the front and say, el tipo parece que se quiere ir. You don't want to fight him, but
Right.
you tell him that you got to go.
Yeah.
You got to get your act together. You got to go.
You got to bounce. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm just playing with you, man. You like that one, though, right?
I did.
Yeah, that was
I did. The painter.
So, so Nelson, you mentioned that que viajan por todo el mundo, siempre han estado juntos, similar así como mi hermano y yo. Entre ustedes dos me imagino que hay un balance, ¿verdad?
Claro.
Que uno es un poquito más loquito que el otro.
Y el otro es el serio,
El otro es un
el que
poquito
calma
más.
las cosas.
Ajá.
No. Se equivocaron.
A ver.
No cojan como más, dicen en Puerto Rico, charlatán. No, es el más alegre.
El más
Él es el que alegra la fiesta.
Así es.
Porque alguien tiene que alegrarla.
Ajá.
Entonces se pega.
Yeah.
Porque hoy en día, he's more excited than me. I guess I got tired already.
No, y estamos iguales porque también en la agrupación de nosotros, mi hermano también es el más alegre, como tú dices.
Sí.
Es el más hyper. You know? Creo que es algo que tiene que ver con with the younger brother, because you and I we're the older brothers.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
siempre yo veo a mi hermano con esa energía and I'm just like, how do you do this?
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes when I'm like dancing, I'm moving my shoulders
Yes,
and all that. And I
yes.
see my brother. I just see my brother like this.
Yes, of course.
And I'm like, Maya, come on.
Yeah. Move, baby, move.
Like keep up. Keep up.
Yeah.
Keep up.
No, pero por ejemplo con nosotros hay un balance. Cuando yo veo que mi hermano también, he's like, hey, you need to turn down low just a little smidge. And then there's sometimes he's like, hey, you need to turn it up. You need to turn it up. So we have that balance. We have that chemistry. And, my brother, we've been doing this for over 13 years. La orquesta de la agrupación salsera que tenemos tiene 13 años. Pero antes de eso, we would do música criolla. Y desde pequeños, nuestros papás siempre han estado atrás de nosotros, siempre han estado cuidando. Siempre nos han dicho, sigan en la música, sigan en los estudios. Y siempre sigan juntos.
Yeah.
Eso siempre nos han dicho. Ustedes son hermanos, siempre van a ser hermanos. Ustedes son sangre.
Hasta la muerte.
Hasta la muerte. Entonces, ustedes tienen que caminar siempre juntos. Y hasta ahorita
último
estamos así.
respiro.
You know what's really funny?
Qué bonito.
You know what's really funny about siempre tienen que caminar juntos? My dad literally took that literally. So when he was a teenager, I was like 8, 9 years old. So me and my brother are completely different in the sense of like personality and all that. My brother was more, he wanted to go to parties, as a teenager and all that. Me, I would have, when I was a teenager, I would have friends over and we would play video games.
Right.
Esa era mi forma de vacilarme, right? My brother, he was more like, yeah, I want to go to a party and all that. But when he would go to the parties, my dad would be like, all right, go. But you're taking your little brother.
Tiene que llevar a mi hermano por a todos lados.
Nah, literally, I'll be 8, 9 years old. I'll be sleeping in the corner while my brother, he's getting his party on and whatever.
Pero siempre juntos, siempre caminábamos
we were
juntos.
literally together at all times, man. All times.
That's nice. That's
so-
we call each other almost every day. I mean, I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for any little thing, you call each other. So that's important.
Exactly.
We talk every day.
Yes.
And it's like we don't even say good morning to each other. We just get straight to the point.
Yeah.
Siempre.
No, what's funny? Like the majority of our conversations, is like nothing music related. Nothing. Like
Wow.
it's either about like, our kids or
We send memes to each other.
yeah, what we did throughout the day, or
That's
the
great.
memes and all that. Like, we don't talk about music until like it's honestly about like about time to have a rehearsal or we have a show time. Like, all right, this is what we're gonna do today. Let's read the crowd to see what songs we're gonna do and etc. We don't. My dad does bring the music to the table, and my mom's like, "Stop!"
Yeah,
Stop.
because we'll be
You're like, "We're about to have dinner. Stop!"
yeah.
so and we're just like, "Yeah, Dad. We'll talk about this after dinner."
I
and then
met your
all
dad,
that.
I meet your mom. God bless them. They're great people.
Man,
and
thank
it's
you,
so smooth and so loving. So
I think that's
just
what
want to
makes
give
this.
a shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to mom and dad, Maria Galvan, Jorge Galvan.
Sí.
It's I think that's what honestly helped us made us go this far.
That's
you
right.
know, with
Bueno,
the-
para los padres de ustedes, los felicito, hicieron un buen trabajo.
Gracias.
appreciate
Dios los
that.
bendiga siempre.
I appreciate
Muchas
that.
bendiciones para ellos. Unfortunately, my mom passed when we were young, and my father was already separated from her. So my grandmother had to continue raising us.
Yeah.
But I had to make a choice to continue with the responsible person within my brother and sister, because he was younger. And I always talked to mom and dad more and grandma, so that kept me on check
Yeah.
Yeah.
to have an idea how to go by doing this. Took my brother, let's go. Took my sister, let's go. Took my grandmother, because my mother used to take care of my grandmother. Let's go, grandma. So I had to move one apartment, which is ours, and then another one, which was my grandmother's.
Yeah.
But my grandmother had her kids with her too. I said, okay, let's go, uncles.
Let's go, everyone.
But, it was a big challenge for me to do it by myself.
Yeah.
It was hard until
Yeah.
today. So if I wanted to do something else,
It had
besides,
to evolve around them as
so
well.
so
Yeah.
then I couldn't do it, because
Yeah.
somebody gotta be the head.
Yeah.
And you-
Working, he was in school. My sister.
So we see the sacrifices that you made too.
So
as the
all
older
that
siblings
came
well.
with. That's why I said you're coming with me to do what you're learning to do.
You mentioned to me that you have a sister.
I have a sister.
Is she involved in music? And
No, she's a good dancer.
she's a
Yeah,
what?
Good dancer.
Oh, a dancer.
We play, and
She
she
dances.
dances. She,
okay.
she like. If the sister's dancing, it's good music. No, yeah, but she was beautiful. So I had to be the role model,
Yeah.
and thank God, my sister followed my step, and then my brother followed my step.
So you
now
were-
we're all married. so-
Yeah. So you technically at that time, you weren't more of the God. You meant Nelson. Cut. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Actually, John is calling me.
Oh, John Pierre. Well, the promoter for the night. Whoa.
Yes.
That's a little important.
So here you
Look,
pick it up.
All right, you know what? Hold on.
Acá en la entrevista. Ponle un speaker, ponle un speaker.
Oh, he hung up. Hold on. I'm gonna call him right here. Hold on. Get this on video. Hold on. I have him right here.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna do like that scene in Rush Hour. I'm like, hey, we're shooting right now, man.
Aló,
Tío, ¿cómo estás?
mi hermano, ¿cómo estás?
Acá estamos en la entrevista y justo tu llamada ha hecho borrar todo.
No, estás en la entrevista ahorita.
No, literalmente estás ahorita en la entrevista. Tengo el teléfono al costado del micrófono. Manda un saludo por ahí, manda un saludo.
Que invite a la gente esta noche.
Para todos mis hermanos que están ahí, para los hermanos Galvan, Willy y Nelson Moreno, de su amigo Jean-Pierre y Luis.
Vaya, un aplauso,
Un aplauso para Luchito Productions, también con nuestro tío Jean-Pierre.
Vaya,
Bueno, Jean-Pierre, nos gustaría hablar contigo, pero estamos trabajando ahorita. ¿Nos das un minutito, porfa?
Call me when you finish.
Así es. No te preocupes, mi hermano. Muchas gracias.
Wow. Saludos para Jean-Pierre y Luchito
También,
Productions,
claro,
que
claro.
gracias a ellos
Everything
estamos...
is life is timing, you know?
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course. No, going back to what we were saying, I well, from what I see, from what you're talking about, you didn't have a role. You weren't the brother role. You had the dad role. Since you
Hard.
He had
Yeah,
both
no.
mom and dad.
No, yeah. So we actually appreciate that, because also that's what formed, what you guys have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys were technically on your own. I know it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy.
Yeah, and it is I know it's emotional. You know, you're talking about that and all that. You know, we appreciate you being open about what you guys are talking about.
I'm always open. I'm an open book, man.
Yeah. No. And I think it's beautiful what you're saying that, you know, like, because you could have just left wherever you guys were living and, you know, had your own life.
Trust me.
And it was probably in your head at that time.
No,
you know?
then I didn't know what to do. I said, well,
so yeah, let me just go back.
My friend mother say, come with us. I said, wait. I look back at my brother sister. Yeah. I go to them, what you going to do? I mean, I want to go with my cousin. I want to go with daddy. Daddy was. He's been around, you know, for this long. You know? And my sister, what you going to do with cousin?
Yeah.
You know, let's go.
Yeah.
So we did go, and I never regret.
Yeah.
And anything I had or have is theirs.
Of course.
And maybe I did wrong by doing that because I did that with my kids. And in reality, you got to earn it sometimes. But I have a great heart. This is mine, this is yours. Whenever I need something.
Help me. Yeah. I'll help you, but help me though. Help me too.
So you know, everything worked out. You know, everybody has a family. They have their kids. They raise well. So I think the little years that I had with them suffering because you suffer because you say, what I'm gonna do next?
Of course.
How we gonna get this now? Now we gotta move from here.
Exactly.
Remember, and all these things it costs money.
Yeah.
And
course.
and a lot of work to find a place. Being young, who's gonna rent you an apartment young?
No,
At 17, 18, and 19.
Of course.
And you know, we did it. We made it, man. We made it.
No, that's it's. I know it's a lot of work.
You know the worst part, and I want everybody to hear this out there because when you have your parents, it's one thing. When you lose them, it's another.
No, yeah.
And my mother had a plan for us and grandma to go back to Puerto Rico. And that didn't happen because she passed.
Yeah.
But at the coffin, I looked at grandmother. I said, Grandma, I gotta talk to Mom. Mom, I'm gonna get the house that you want for Grandma. And whoever wants to go, we go. But I cannot, obligate everybody to go.
Yeah.
And I did it. I said, I left the funeral or whatever. I said, damn, I talked a lot there. Because I don't know where I'm gonna get this money from.
Yeah. But you're gonna do it.
But that was your goal. That was
my goal.
Right.
Brother, one day to another, boom. Puerto Rico buying a house with my brother.
Nice.
I remember that time.
Remember?
We had to fly twice from Puerto Rico.
I took my brother, but I went and I checked out this house and, and I said, I'm coming back. And then the guy goes, you're crazy. No, I'm coming back for it. Okay. Then when I went back, I said, Nelson, we're going to Puerto Rico. We got grandma in the house.
We're going to get the house.
We're going to make it happen, So I had the money. So and then we flew over there with the money. No, not with the money. With a check.
With a check. I remember that.
With an official check, right?
The cashier's check.
Yeah, cashier's check.
Yeah.
So we went down there, and they said, no, we want cash.
Oh, man.
I said, oh, my God. Really?
So that's why you guys had to fly twice.
That's
right. And you know what? I don't know what happened that I can remember was like we were young. They didn't believe that's my money.
Yeah.
The bank was the one that said, talk to the owners that we want cash. I said, okay. So now we got to go back, man. So
next day we took a
more
flight
money,
back.
flying and bring cash.
Yeah.
Anybody can, or you can get stopped by security and
the airport and all that.
So we went, cash, let's go. And we did it.
Wow. And
that was crazy. And we did it.
Yep.
Nice.
Well, props to you guys, for keeping that promise too.
Yeah, man. So, you guys are going to miss your parents once they're gone.
Oh,
yeah.
Good or bad?
No, yeah. We have a very special relationship with our parents. We all still live together.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound a little weird me saying this, but it's like I don't want to leave right now.
Yeah. Like, I don't blame you.
No,
it's like no,
it's like that.
Yeah, like my mom, man. Well, our parents, they're my world.
Yeah.
And while my brother and I are working, while his wife is working, while the mother of my kids is also working, or whatever, whatever the case is. My mom stays home and watches all six grandkids.
6 grandchildren.
So she has the hardest job in the family.
Yeah.
She has literally the hardest job.
She's raising our kids.
But you know what? She loves that though. The grandkids are gonna remember her.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Because I remember my grandmother. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I remember she used to give me a cracker and a little bit of coffee because there was no really food in the house. I was happy. Yeah. And to this day, I'm still happy. Wow, thank God for Grandma. She gave me a little bit of pancake and one cracker and a little bit of coffee. Yeah. So that was my grandmother. And, boy, I miss her a lot.
Yeah. No. Likewise, man. We're actually coming towards the end of this podcast, but there is one question. Well, there's actually two questions I want to ask you guys before we leave. Mm-hmm. Willie was talking about, always giving opportunities and things like that, So I wanted to see if, since you guys have started up until present, was there ever a singer from Peru that was ever going to be joining Hermanos Moreno? Or was that ever an idea? Like, did you guys ever see a singer from Peru like, hey, we should get him? Was did that ever cross your mind?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we have one guy recording a single for us.
May we ask his name?
Why not?
Yes and no.
Can we know his name?
Letters, front letter. No. Yeah, of course. Waltinho.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, he doesn't live in Peru, but I think he lives in Canada. I remember I also saw videos and pictures that he was with like Tommy Olivencia.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, he was back in the days. He was in New York.
Yeah,
in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
The thing with this was that he always, every time we flew to Peru, he tells me, Willie, I love this tune. No me vuelvo. No, ¿cómo se llama? El bolero.
Eres mías.
Eres mía. And he sings it to me. I say, man, that's nice. 1 year
bolero.
Another.
The bolero.
And it keeps on going. And I said, okay, so why don't you record it in salsa? And he goes, really? That's a good idea. I said, cool. Well, we're doing a project, 35 years anniversary. It's supposed to be 30. Yep. And this 5 years, everybody wants to join. And I said, okay, fine. So we'll wait. It's when God says, not us. Mm-hmm. And in reality, if you like it or not, it's going to be a real beautiful thing because there is singers there that you will say, wow, I didn't know they were friends. Yeah. Because everybody's just hopping in. There's nothing interested of money or anything. It's just, how you say that, participating?
Yep. Colaboración.
There you go. And so he himself sent for the arrangement.
Nice.
And then I said, great. Now
do it.
Do your thing. Now do your thing.
Yeah.
And then we started talking. He goes, yeah, pero yo quisiera entrar con ustedes también ahí. And
Los 35.
And I'll do it, and it's yours. I said, really? Yeah, okay, you're in.
Yeah. Nice.
Because I wanted a Peruvian to sing with us anyways.
Yeah.
Nice. But I one time had, not in this group, but in a group that I had before, Renzo.
Who, I'm sorry?
Renzo Padilla.
Renzo Padilla. Oh, of course.
So when he came from Peru,
he lived in New York.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
For a long time,
so one guy introduced me to him so he can sing with us. And then I tell him, yeah, I like him. But since I give opportunities, I always say, well, your opportunity's not here. Why? Because you're overqualified. And I could see it in his hungry eyes. Like, I'm going to kill it and then go on and keep on killing it. And today he's...
Oh, yeah.
He's him.
I remember I saw the videos of the moment he went back to Peru. And he had performances, all over. And the way that people received him is because, it's a nice feeling knowing that, like, for example, like us being musicians and singers, seeing Renzo Padilla compartiendo con gente de la Fania, accompanying Tito Nieves, La India, Rubén Blades. Like, it's not just anyone can play with them, or sing with them.
Yes, but he started from the bottom.
Of course,
yeah. That's where you didn't, people didn't see, or they see him with these people you mentioned now. But before that, he was paying dues.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I didn't want him to pay dues with me because I already know he had it going on.
Yeah.
And I already read his mind. Yeah. So, he did with Eddie Montalvo, he did with Juveniles, And good for him, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course.
So every time we see each other, of course, we're friends.
Yeah.
And all that. Yeah.
Nice. That's a cool story. That's actually a story that I didn't even know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Well,
that.
you know, our first single was going to be, and because he's so honest, and may God always bless him because he just lost his wife. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow we're gonna go to his house to hang out with Tito Allen.
Okay.
Because his wife passed, they had to get together. We couldn't do it because we went out to perform, and so they wanted to do another one. He told the guy, "Man, this made me feel good because I need friends around me now." So he wanted this. So we're gonna be there. Rachel Pulver's gonna be there. BTV's gonna be there. So we're gonna get together tomorrow for him.
Nice.
So our first single was going to be him,
Tito Allen.
but he was.
I remember that.
Remember?
I remember that, yes.
When we did that, yo dije, Tito, me gustaría que tú grabaras este disco, que fue el primero.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was one of the youngest guys hanging out with these guys, So he said, you know what, Will? Y Nelson, porque Nelson, tú estabas ahí.
I remember.
He goes, ya yo tengo miedo, pero yo lo haría. Y no es por el dinero ni nada, pero que ustedes están comenzando y sería algo bien bonito que comiencen algo, because he already see me and we're going to do something nice. It's not going to be like we need that push, He knows we could do it on our own. So he goes, hágalo solito y verá que tengo fe en ustedes y ustedes
De solito va a caminar.
Sí, van a estar bien.
Entonces Tito Allen iba a ser uno de los primeros cantantes.
The first singer, yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Eso también es algo que no sabíamos, que también Tito Allen potencialmente iba a ser uno de los integrantes de Los Hermanos Moreno.
Hablando de todo un poco, yo me recuerdo, hablando de todo un poco, el primer concierto aquí en Perú, cuando había 2 tarimas, 2 luces, habían el Estadio Nacional. Sí. Fue un concierto que por primera vez, wow, yo lo disfruté, en el Estadio Nacional con Cartagena y Los Hermanos Moreno. 2 tarimas, 2 luces, 2 sonidos.
Wow.
Y eso fue como 3 o 4 horas, uno detrás de otro, uno detrás de otro, uno detrás de otro. Y eso fue increíble.
Wow.
I have to mention that.
Nice.
No fueron muchas veces, uno y uno. Como la segunda canción, tercero, la mitad de la banda se vino con nosotros en stage y después vino Cantado y se quedó atrás con nosotros.
¿Estás hablando del ¿cómo se dice? Sipsy Blues? Is that what you're talking about?
The what?
Sipsy Blue? Is that what you're talking about? Que tiene 2 tarimas?
Sí.
En el Nacional.
En el Estadio Nacional. Eso fue en 1991.
You can look it up.
Y ese lugar estaba súper lleno.
Y se llenó.
Pero qué increíble. Una orquesta empezaba, pagaban la luz, el sonido en la otra tarima, they were next to each other. Y cuando él terminaba el tema, ¡guau! Empezaba la otra orquesta. Pagaban la luz, el sonido en la otra.
And you guys just had to wait there?
We just had to wait for them. Yeah, they were waiting. We wait for each other.
Nice.
Okay.
What a concert.
Yeah, él estaba pegado en Perú.
Oh, of course.
Y nosotros fuimos y estábamos pegados en Perú.
Claro.
Pero estábamos pegados acá en Nueva York.
Claro.
Wow.
So cogile, bro.
And if I recall, Antonio Cartagena was also part of RMM.
Yes.
Yeah,
After,
I
after.
recall that he was also part of that. Yeah. And another Peruvian that was part of it, and some people actually forget about it, was Willie Rivera.
Yes.
Willie Rivera was also another Peruvian part of RMM.
Yeah, going back to our conversation also that you spoke about Papo Luca, getting back to that conversation. I remember that when he produced the LP back then, No Me Vuelvo a Enamorar, that Rafael Mercado was interested that he mentioned, he put us in a place called the Village Gate in New York, just to see, along with La Sonora Ponceña, we will open up for La Sonora Ponceña.
Wow.
I tell you, and Ralph Mercado was in backstage just looking at the crowd, because he was one of the guys that he would be interested in the talent, but his most important thing was be interested in the crowd, how they react to the talent.
Right.
So that night we got a standing ovation.
Wow.
Nice.
At the Village Gate, Salsa Meets Jazz. It was on a Monday night. And since Papo Luca was our producer, what better than put us with Papo Luca?
Of course.
Right.
And that was the time that he really signed us up and said, we'll see you at the office Monday.
Nice.
But I think that was the standing ovation that did that.
And not only that, Papo Luca goes to Rafi. Yo no sé, pero esta es la primera vez que me cogen el tiempo mío. Because the timing went on.
Yeah.
And nobody stopped us.
Yeah.
Le robamos un poquito de tiempo a él.
Wow.
Yes. And he played a song with us.
Wow.
Nice.
Con Chinchosa, el que hizo el arreglo.
Nice.
So tocó también con nosotros.
Nice.
So it was, it's a bless, man. It's a bless.
We've been fortunate enough that we, after that, when Ralphie signed us up, and Para Alegrarte la Vida LPs, was a hit over here in Peru, no? In Peru, and we started traveling to Japan. We started traveling all over the place. And one of our favorite places that we went to was Japan. We went to Tokyo, Fukuoka, and Osaka, 3 different major cities in Japan. And that was some concerts over there. Everything was packed. Japanese people dancing salsa. The first time we see that.
Yeah, and apparently Japanese people love salsa.
So,
Oh, yeah.
I think if I don't recall, it was us and Mark Anthony.
Mark Anthony.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Before Mark Anthony, was Mark Anthony. And he had that long hair back
Yeah.
then. So it was us and him. We went to all different cities in Japan. And what a concert in Japan, man. That was so great. That was so great.
And what you guys said when we're going to start, you get groups in there, right?
The nervous.
Nervios.
Yeah, nervous. That's a very good thing.
Oh, it is.
That's a very good thing. You start nervous and you finish
Yeah.
like we're doing now. Don't you think just because we've been around for 35 years, I sat here and what we're going to talk about? What should I say? And you start nervous. And it's over,
Yeah.
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 Because you put us against the wall.
Yeah.
With all this stuff that when we go on the radio sometimes, different places, it's like boring.
But you're having a good time here, though, right?
Oh, yes.
And
Yeah, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Coming down to the recording session here, I was talking to Mr. Galvan here. And I said,
To George.
Yeah, George. I said, I can't wait till the day you start traveling.
Yeah.
And you and your brother, because it'll be nice to crisscross on stage.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. That would be great.
You guys are in the right path, though. I think that
We appreciate
you
that.
guys are working so
Thank you
hard,
so
and
much.
we see you on social media every day.
Appreciate that,
Thank you.
brother.
So
Appreciate
I think that, anything we could do to help you out, please let us know and we'll do the best we can to help you out.
we have that recorded.
Yeah.
we have that recorded. No, but
It's
we
okay.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
no, and I see you guys like I see myself and my brother. That's the way we started.
Of course.
Yeah.
But back then it was harder because there was no social media. There was there was nothing available. You know, we were just on the phone all day trying to get bookings, man, and we didn't have a manager. And we rehearsed a lot, but you guys, are in the right path. And I hope one day that you guys do explode and we see each other somewhere around the world.
Yeah, that would be
great.
amazing.
And we could talk about this.
And so we're actually, that would be the conversation when we do cross each other. That'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of getting into that topic, this is one of the last questions that we want to ask because we got a show to do.
Yes,
know?
we got a show tonight.
So
Can't wait.
Exactly. My question is, what advice would you give to people that are starting in music, or even people like us that we've played some time, to a motivation thing, what do you guys recommend and all that?
I said a couple of things before about education,
Of course.
father, mother, and take the right path. But I think persistence breaks the resistance.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you have faith in what you do, don't take no as an answer. If people say no, that should give you enough more energy to push on and be persistent.
Yeah.
Because I feel I feel that some people say, well, you're too fast, but you got to be persistent.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that always breaks the resistance. And once that happens, you're in.
Yeah.
You can't take no as an answer. You just got to keep pushing. Be positive. Don't be negative.
Yeah. Yeah, of
Always
course.
be positive. You could do it, and you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just takes a little more time, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's talking to the right person.
Yeah.
Like an opportunity thing.
You want to be a millionaire, you hang out with 3 millionaires, you're going to be the fourth millionaire.
Right.
So you want to be a pilot, you hang out at the airport. You want to be a musician, you want to hang out with musicians. You got to be with the right crowd.
With the right
because
crowd.
I think it's going to push you to be the best you can.
Yeah.
And learn from them. And you can learn from people that are not professional. You can learn from people that are professional and just keep absorbing and be persistent.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
What about you, Willie?
Well, like I said, took my lines.
I was supposed to say that.
Took my lines. No, this is the way we do it. You start not knowing. You love each other. You respect each other. But that's what happens. When we learn something, we pick up. And that's a great thing. Same with whoever's starting.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do what he said because I read that book and I passed it on. But what happens if you do go hang out with somebody that is doing something that you really want to do and you start stealing his ideas and stuff? Is that nice?
No.
You're going to make it and you're going to step all over him. So you really have to be careful of what you do because you want to learn and you want to be there, but you shouldn't steal nothing.
Yeah,
You
grow.
ask for it. You help.
Mm-hmm.
You want a building or a 2-family house or whatever. You can't afford it. Papi, let's do it together. Okay. But you got to talk about it. When we're doing good, if I want it, can I buy it off you? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And things like this. Oh, but now you get into a 10-family house. You got to hire people to clean and all that and to fix, right?
Yeah.
So you always need people around you. You need people around you.
A support
Music.
system.
A support system.
You hire them too.
Yeah.
You know, you need all that, but you got to hire them. So we need to hire a booking agent. We need the manager. You need all that. And of course, the commissions come in and all that. But that's contract.
It's part of the deal.
Yeah, it's part of
It's
the deal.
part of it. But you have to try to be at least 99% clear with things. Not take that 1%. You could lose the whole project.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
You
course.
gotta be honest with each other. If you see something wrong, then you talk. If you see something wrong, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Right.
Of course.
But everything's gotta be, sin robar.
Exactly.
No stealing ideas. No.
Be
none of that.
original. Be original.
Be original and be honest. And that's
Yeah.
it. And that's what. And be humble.
Yes.
I see it.
Absolutely.
And then when you make it, don't forget.
To stay humble.
To stay home.
Stay humble because then you can't fit through that door. Your head can't fit through that. That's when you lose everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
De acuerdo.
De acuerdo, 100%. Amén.
De acuerdo.
Y el que crea en Dios, que crean. Si creen otra cosa, pero en algo hay que creer.
Yeah.
You need something that could hold you in the right track.
Yeah.
Así es.
You understand?
Yeah. De
Y
acuerdo.
así es la vida.
Así es.
Respetar a uno bien importante, coger consejo. El que no coge consejo no llega viejo.
Por la pintura, la pintura.
Con la pintura, con la pintura.
ya soy un buen pintor. But yeah, we offer help. If we can do it, we do it. I
course.
gave you an idea already what you can do with a song of ours. Because sometimes a couple tunes will. This is what everybody's doing today anyways. And at the same time, the name is there. We're starting. You keep on going. We keep on, whatever we have.
Yeah.
Before, we didn't have this. We have to take advantage now of
Yeah.
all these little things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, de acuerdo. De acuerdo. Bueno, Jorge Luis, ya llegamos al fin del 5º episodio de Contado y Cantado.
Así, mi gente, ya llegamos al final del 5º episodio. Queremos dar las gracias a los hermanos Moreno, a
Los
Willy
aplausos, por
y a
favor.
Nelson. Los
Por favor,
aplausos.
aplausos.
Y hoy día, esta noche, estamos en Diamond Lounge con los hermanos Moreno y,
Y van a también ver ese episodio del live concert
Ajá.
con hermanos Moreno y hermanos Galvan y Orquesta en vivo.
Entonces,
¿Sí o no?
stay tuned, porque va a ser un concierto espectacular.
Y la grabación, gracias a
Juancito Piratex.
Vaya.
Maná.
Bueno, buenas noches, mi gente.
Vaya,
Nos
mi
vamos.
gente, nos fuimos.